Hi and welcome to this video tutorial by myself, Pacity, and we are going to be showing you how to do some basic meshing today and also how to do some more advanced stuff with the skeleton. So we'll be doing some fancy stuff, and I will also be showing you how to use your first opacity, which is a almost like an alpha if you know anything about Photoshop or Illustrator or GIMP. It's like an alpha map which you can use to go and either make something more visible or transparent on your texture, and we'll be showing you how to do this and some fancy skeleton animations that we can do within the IMVU skeleton. So let's just go ahead and select this original startup, which will give us a 4 grid display in Max. Sorry, 4 viewport display in Max. If you don't see it, just go to this bottom one over here, which is the toggle, and basically you can just hit it over there and it switches you into the full viewport view. And if you want to ever maximize a viewport that you're working on, just click it and then go to the toggle maximize viewport. Okay. So what I want you to do is just select this top viewport over here, and I want you to select the cylinder, and if you just go into the middle of this over here, just try and get as middle as possible, and you just click and hold down and drag out, and then you can see it in these other viewports around it as well, and then just move it, once you release, just move it up a bit and you'll see that it grows. Okay, so that should be about fine for the purpose that we need it for. And what I'm going to do here is where it says sides, and it says 18 at the moment, I want to go and put that up to 36 to make it a more of a smoother round shape. And press enter. Now you see it goes all round. And now I want to give it some cap segments, and I want to give it 4 cap segments. And you'll see now over here these rings have been added to the cap, the top of this, and we're going to be using those in a minute. But before we go and release this and finalize this shape, this object I should say, let's just go and change the height segment to 1, because we only just need 1. Okay, so now we've got this this cap that's got a few segments in it, and then you've got quite a few sides, which makes it a nice round object. Just Control Z that. So now what we're going to do is we're going to start editing this poly. So just go right click, convert to editable poly, and I want to switch to a bottom view. So now I'm in the bottom view. It's very similar, it looks almost identical to the top view. And I'm just going to go and select the polygon tool here. I'm going to select this bottom cap. Well, actually, no, I'm not going to do that. If you have a look over here at this left viewport, we're just going to take this zoom region tool just to zoom in on the object and just go and draw a rectangle around it, and you'll see you get nice, it zooms in nicely around the object. We're going to take this polygon tool again, and we're going to draw a rectangle around just this bottom area all the way across. So we're going to do it just like this. Hold down and make sure you get the entire bottom area, and you'll see it also has selected these sides, so we don't want that. So we're going to hold down Alt and draw a rectangle around the top area only, and now you see you've only got the bottom area selected, and we're just going to delete it because that's just adding a whole bunch of extra polys that we're not going to be using in our mesh. Now what I want to do is I want to go and just select these middle ones. So I'm going to zoom in on them. Well, first of all, let's just go switch to the top view. I'm going to zoom in on them. Just right click to close the zoom. Okay. And then I'm just going to hold down Control and I'm going to select all of them. So holding down Control, I'm just going to click on each one of these. Okay, and in this, let's go and just click on the left wireframe again. Sorry, Control Z so we can get these again. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this Move tool. And I'm going to move it down. Okay. And actually I'm going to move it way below this over here. No, I'm not. I'm just going to leave it up over here so that it doesn't disappear. And what we're going to do now is that we're just going to go and leave it where it is actually. And we're going to take these ones on the outside here. So I'm just thinking about how we're going to be building this product. So I'm just winging it as we go along here. So we're just going to select all these ones on this middle ring over here. Okay, so we got those selected, and we're just going to go and right click into this left wireframe, and that, by right clicking you don't lose the selected portion of your mesh. We're just going to lower that to about halfway down. So we got that. And now what we should do is we're going to just take this uniform scale tool. In the top, right click into the top one, and we're going to grow it until it's about like that. And let's just go and take this inner ring here. So we're actually going to go and take the Edge Select tool. I'm going to select one of these over here. Sorry, not over there. We're going to select one of these over here in this very inner ring. No, I don't have the right one. No, I need to get in closer. I'm not able to select it from there. So I'm just going to zoom in using this zoom tool over here. And I'm just going to go and select one of these. There we go, I've got the right on this ring. So I want one of these lines that make up part of this ring, and I'm just going to go loop, and it selects the whole lot. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this whole ring out until it's underneath its closest parent. So I'm going to use the scale tool for that to make sure the scale tool is selected. And that's about right. So now we've got this nice looking bowl in the middle of our texture. Sorry, in the middle of our mesh. And if we have a look at it, there we go. We've got a nice looking bowl thingy. And what we're going to do now is just going to take everything at the bottom here. Absolutely everything. We're going to select it. Actually, we don't want the edge tool. We want the vertex tool for this, which we're going to be, when we use the vertex tool, we're just selecting these dots that make up part of the mesh. So we're going to be selecting everything at the bottom here. Okay, so just making sure that we don't have this level, well, this lot of dots selected. And what we're going to do now is going to use the move tool and move this down. And I'm just going to zoom out just on this top viewport so I can see. Okay, so to zoom out, you just hold down with the left click, and if you're on a trackpad on a laptop, just pull down on the trackpad. Pull your finger down, and to move back in, move it up. So pull it down and move it up. Okay. So I just want to undo what we did earlier. So just going to go Control Z. So that brings that all back up. And I've noticed that this bottom lot of vertices is selected. So I want to deselect them. So I'm just going to go and hold down Alt and go around the vertices that I don't want. So like that, you see them now have disappeared on the bottom. And I've got some more on this side that I don't want. And once again, you start to see them disappear at the bottom. I'm going to zoom out a bit. Now we can't just go and draw a square around the whole circle, or we'll deselect this middle vertice. Now careful not to go and deselect anything on this outer ring either, because we need those. I'm just trying to make sure that we got all of them. Okay, so let's keep pulling this down until where we want it, and I think that's about right. Okay, so now we got this bowl-looking object. And what we're going to do, this is going to be a furniture object. We're going to go and make a globe. We're going to put it in the middle of that, and we'll make it a shiny, transparent globe with the opacity. So let's just go and click on the left again. Okay, so we're going to go into the create mode. And we're going to go and select geosphere. And just, we'll measure it from the top vertice, so try and get it in the middle. Sorry, in the top viewport, we'll try and get it in the middle. We're going to grow a globe in the middle of it. And make sure it's about approximately the size of that bowl area. That's about right. And now what we're going to do is going to raise it up so it's kind of sitting in the bowl. So right click into this left viewport. So something like that. Okay. So now what we can do is we can start we'll start assigning maps to this. But we're going to go and solidify this as a single mesh before we do anything. Now I just want to take a quick look at it just to make sure it looks natural. Actually, no, it doesn't. Let's just move this down a bit more. That makes it look a bit more natural. Okay, and before we join these together, I'm just trying to get rid of these bottom vertices that we don't need. So we're just going to go and convert it to an editable poly. We're just going to use the vertex to select tool, and all of these that are appearing at the bottom underneath this this original green object, we just want to delete them. Just going to draw a rectangle around them. Once we've got them selected, we can just delete. So now we don't have anything that's not going to be visible. That's just unnecessary in our mesh. And that makes our mesh a lot less KB, so it doesn't take a lot, it doesn't load, it doesn't lag. Or it will lag less than it would if you had all those extra vertices in it. So now what we can do is we can start, I'm going to join this to this. So just deselect. I just want to have I just want to have it as a regular editable poly. No selection tools selected. And we're just going to go and hit the attach tool. And we're going to click on this green object over here, and it all becomes one mesh. Okay, so now what we can do is we can save this. And we're just going to save it again into our IMVU projects folder. I'm just going to call the folder furniture, and we're going to save it as ball 1. I have no idea what we're going to be using this for, but okay. That's it saved. Okay, so open up your browser, go to IMVU.com. We're just going to go into the community, into the creator program, and just going to go into the education center. If you already downloaded the furniture product starter pack, the example chair, you don't need to do it again. Just if you haven't, this is where you get it. Example chair, download it. I'm just going to extract it to my IMVU project folder. Just going to hit extract, extract all. Okay, extract. Okay, so it's actually extracted it directly into our IMVU project folder without a folder, subfolder. You might want to create a subfolder, but for now we don't need to. Just going to open it up. Actually, it's opened up a second version of Max. We didn't really want it to do that, so I'm just going to close that off. The original one. So we just go select yes to this warning, and we've got our guy with the sitting pose sitting there. Just going to delete that. I'm going to delete the guy with the sitting pose. But I'm going to leave his nodes in place. So delete him. Let's get this more on a right angle. Okay. So this is the seat.sitIn. And I'm just going to change that to seat.standin. So it was a sitting pose, and now it's a default IMVU stand-in pose. Just enter that. So that's pretty much the difference. That's how you can change a sitting to a standing pose. Not really rocket science or anything like that. Now, and what we're going to do is we are now going to import that mesh that we had around this stand-in pose. So let's go and select import, merge, we go to the desktop, IMVU product, and I'm just going to go into that furniture product, this folder I should say, and select the ball 1. And we'll select this object Geosphere 001. Okay, so he is now in the middle of that node. I actually want him in the middle of this node. Just going to move him. So he's in the middle of the seat.standin node. And what we're going to do is we're going to go and take a side view from the top at the side, and we'll zoom out a bit. So that's just click down and drag down to zoom out. So we're going to toggle maximum viewport over here at the bottom. So now you can see him in this object in a few places from a few angles. And we're going to go to the scale, uniform select and scale, and we're going to scale him from this angle, this one that we've selected from the top side. You'll see then the whole thing scales, and you want to get him pretty big. Okay, so now we've got this in the guy's going to be standing in the middle of the ball, and let's go and just zoom out a little bit on these viewports. Click and hold down, pull out, click and hold down, pull out. Okay, so we get to see it a bit better now. Now, at this point, yeah, it looks like we might need to get it a little bit bigger. So, let's go to this bottom viewport, and in the middle, make sure that middle triangle is selected, not one of the side ones. And you just pull it up a bit. Okay, so that looks a bit bigger. And now what we want is for the root node to be at the bottom, but we're going to move the mesh, not the actual root node. So let's just go and select the mesh, and we'll use the move tool, not the scale tool, to do this. So select the mesh, and we're going to move it up. Okay, so now that's pretty much centered. So what's going to be happening is when the guy stands over here, he's going to be in the middle of this globe, which will have this stone-like object around it, and the globe will be transparent and shiny like a flame or something, and it's going to look really good. We could go a little bit further and animate the guy a bit, but for now we're just going to go and export this, just so that we can see what it looks like for size comparison in IMVU. But so before we can export it, we need to put on some some materials. So let's go into the material editor, and the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go and assign the IMVU material, the existing IMVU material, to this this one over here, that mesh. So there we go, it's assigned now. And just to make sure it is assigned properly, we're going to right click on, not perspective, on wireframe, and we're going to go to realistic, and we can see a texture is now assigned to it. Okay, and we've got that one dodgy transparent texture that we don't really want. So let's just quickly go and assign some textures in here. So to assign a texture, you just go in here, You select the texture you want, sorry, the map you want. This is map channel 0 in IMVU, but this is ID 1 in Max, and map channel 1 in IMVU is ID 2 in Max, and map channel 3 is ID 3, sorry, 2 is ID 3, and so on. So if you add more textures, it's going to be if you're going to add in more maps, you must make sure that you get this number structure right within the square brackets, because that's going to indicate what number it is assigned in IMVU, what number texture at least. So let's go to the parent quickly. So we need just to select the JPEG, and we're going to go into bitmap. Actually, we're not. We're just going to go over to bitmap parameters, and let's just go up one until we're in our IMVU project folder. I'll include these textures for you to download, and we're just going to choose 0 for the 0 channel. We are going to go and select this one over here, and we're going to then select this JPEG in the bitmap parameters. We're going to change it to the number 1. So we're working on map channel 1 now, and we'll go to the parent, and we'll just select here, and we're just going to go and actually we're not even going to select there. Actually, yes, we're going to select into here. I'm just going to scroll down. You can see this one's got an opacity on it. We can leave that in for now. Because I'm going to show you how an opacity channel works in a minute. Actually, it's on the wrong part of the mesh. So let's just go and deselect the opacity. You just need to go to the parent to do that. So we've deselected the opacity, and then we're just going to go into this JPEG under the diffuse. And we'll select the map channel 2. Okay, so this texture looks like it's coming together nicely now. Sorry, this mesh. Okay, we can go and export this now into IMVU. So let's just select, we can close this off now. Let's just go and select the mesh. We're going to right click it, convert to editable poly, and we're going to go into the modifier list. We're going to go down to skin, and we want to attach this to a bone. So we're going to add a bone, and the bone that we're going to add is the root node. Select that, and we're just going to go up over here to edit envelopes. I'm going to deselect that, and select vertices. And I need to zoom out a bit so I can see the whole mesh. Okay. So it doesn't matter which viewport you do this in, as long as you can see the whole mesh. And now just right click to kill the magnifying glass. Now we're just going to go and select around this entire mesh. All the vertices become selected. I'm going to go down here. I'm going to uncheck normalize. I'm going to check rigid. and we're going to select Abs Effect 1. Okay, and now once it's gone and you've seen it's gone and given this reddish glow, we can now go and, well, we first of all, let's just go and collapse this. By going into the crate, we actually need to export our furniture skeleton. So let's go and select this root over here, and we're just going to export a skeleton, and we're going to go and put it into this furniture folder within the IMVU project folder. I'm going to call it Skell. I'm going to go and select the skeleton cal3d skeleton file XSF. I'm going to go save and make sure all of this is selected and go finish. Now we can go and select the geosphere again. Okay, and just make sure that everything is still selected when we go into the envelope. And now we can export the mesh. And we need just to go and select mesh file, and I'm just going to call it mesh. Okay, so now it's ready to go into IMVU, so I'm just going to minimize this. And if we just go to the empty furniture node product that we had earlier, then we just go derive from product. Okay, so what we can do now is we're going to go put in our new skeleton. So we're going to go into config, add XSF, and we're going to select we're going to go into the furniture folder and select the skull. And we'll just apply the changes as is, so I can demonstrate to you what happens. Instead of being a sitting nose, it should be a standing nose. There we go. So it doesn't sit anymore, it stands. That's because we replaced sitting to standing in the node name. Now we're just going to go and add in our mesh. So let's go add XMF. We're going to select our mesh file and we'll apply. Okay, so now first things we need to do is see what's going on inside there. How do we do that? So let's go and select this material over here, and we're going to need to add in an opacity map. So I'm just going to open up Photoshop. You can do it with GIMP as well. Okay, so just go for a 2x6 by 2x6 picture. Okay, and I'm just going to duplicate the background as a layer. I'm going to go to Filters, Render, Difference Cloud. The lighter the color grey, the more solid that your object is going to appear. And the darker the color grey, the more transparent it's going to appear. So I need to darken this quite a bit because I want it kind of really transparent. So to do that, I'm just going to go. This isn't really a texturing tutorial. I'm just going to go into the brightness. I'm going to turn it way down, and the contrast way up. That looks pretty good. I'm going to just merge all visible layers. And we've got that color. And we'll just export that as it is. And I want to go into 24-bit PNG, which is a lot better. PNG 24, I should say. 24-bit, what am I talking about? And we're just going to save that. Into the furniture products. So we're going to go into IMVU project on the desktop and save it into the furniture folder. I'm just going to call it Opacity. And we'll save that. Okay, so now let's just go colorize it. For some reason it's now, I'm going to have to go and switch this into the image mode. I do a lot of work in black and white, so it defaults to that, but I want RGB color so I can actually have a full range of colors. And we're just going to get a huge saturation, and we're going to give this a colorize. We're going to give it like a reddish or orangish, yeah, like that. That looks nice. Okay, so it'll be like an orangish glow, a brownish orangey glow. Let's make it a little bit more red. There we go. And I'll export that as diffuse, as will be the name. Okay, so we're just going to add in the opacity map. We're going to add in the diffuse. Let's use Composite Blending. So we'll tick use blending and use composite. Let's go and apply that. Okay, it actually it's a bit more transparent than I actually want it to be. Let me also just put on an outfit on this avatar. Oh, my Klingon warrior, that will be good. I'm a real geek. just going to put in a room scene so we can see something better. Trying to choose a nice room that we can load this up into. Okay, there we can actually see it a bit better now. So now I want him to be standing in the middle. That's our standing pose that we made earlier in the middle. And I want to go and just change this ball so it's a bit more darker. So there's more that's more solid. Because right now it's a bit too transparent for my liking. So how we do that is let's go turn off that huge saturation. We just go into Photoshop here and we go into brightness contrast again. We'll just turn up the brightness a bit. That should be okay. That's 78 there. Export it. And let's put it into IMVU. I'll be including these so you don't actually really need to make these yourself. And we'll apply that. Now it's a bit more solid. It's a bit more visible. You can see him standing in the middle of it. Let's put him back in the middle standing pose. There we go. Now what I want to do is just raise it up a bit, because for some reason it's a little bit down there. So this mesh is in the wrong place. So let's just go back into max. It needs to be a little bit higher. Okay, so I see where the problem is here, and I'm glad this has happened because I get to demonstrate to you just how important these nodes are. If you have a look over here, this bottom line is below the root node, and anything that appears below the root node of a furniture product is under the floor. So that is why the nodes are so important. So this root node, this has to be roughly around over here. So I'm actually going to move the product up, the actual mesh up I should say. So I'm just going to take this wire, this right viewport over here, I'm going to go and move it up, and there we go, that's about middle. So it's going to go into the stack again. Actually we need to, let's just move that up again and we'll kill that existing skin that we've got on there. So let's move that up again. So I went back into the create mode there and I moved that up. So I'm just going to go and convert that to an editable poly. And I'm just going to go into the modifier list. Go down to skin. And I'm just going to go into bones. And I'm going to add a bone over here. I'm going to add in the root. And I'm going to select that. Scroll up to the top here. And I'm going to click on Edit Envelopes. I'm going to select the vertice option and deselect envelopes and cross sections. And then I'm going to go and draw a square around, a rectangle around the product, the entire product. And then I go down and we're going to do the weighting, and I'm going to untick normalize, I'm going to tick rigid, and for abs effect I'm going to put in 1 and enter. So now it's ready for exporting, and we can see it's now still in the middle of that node. And we don't need to export the skeleton, we just need to export the mesh. We'll just override this existing file, save, yes, and we've got our skeleton already selected there, so we can just go next, and next again, and finish. Okay, so now if we go into IMVU, and we just go to add XMF, we select the new mesh file, and we apply that. Now you see it's further up, but his feet have gone underneath the mesh, so now we need to move. The next thing we need to do is move up those nodes. Hey man. Okay, so actually I just want to go and click onto that middle node that we made. Yes, he is now standing on that furniture node that we made, and it's a little bit low, so his feet are slightly below the bottom of the mesh, so we need to raise that up. And how we do that is just in max over here, and let's just go into the crate, and we need to take first of all we're going to go and select the catcher, sorry, the picture and the catcher, and what we're going to do is we're going to move them until they're about over here. So we're just going to do it with over here. Let's just actually zoom in so we can see a bit better. Okay, so we zoomed in, and we want them on over here. So I'm going to move them up and put them over there. So let's just grab the move tool. And an easy way that we can do it is just by grabbing it on the corner of it over here, lift it up, and there you go. There, that's better. Yes, that seems perfect, just there. Okay, so what will happen is this is where they will be pitching and catching actions like hugs, high fives, kisses, whatever. And this node over here, the seat.standing node, that needs to be, let's just go and pan this. About over here. That should be fine. Yeah, that should be perfect. So now we're just going to go and select the root, and we're just going to go and export a new skeleton file. The mesh is already weighted to this skeleton, to the root node, and we didn't move it, so we don't need to do anything with exporting a new mesh or anything. And we're just going to go and select skeleton file, and we'll override the original one. Okay, so now we can go and upload that. Okay, and we'll apply that change, and now we'll just test it out. Now he's standing where he should be standing. Okay, and his feet are not below the surface, so it looks a lot better. Okay. And now let's go and bring in the actor. So we just go to actors and add an actor, and we can test out that those custom positions of the catcher and pitcher node and make sure that the hugs and the high fives and stuff aren't broken. So the actor, we're going to go and click on Tsui. Okay, here we go. And we'll give him the bear hug. Oh wait. Okay, my actor is obviously not a friend, so high five. Yes, it's moved outside where it should be. Let's look at that again. Yes, and it's all aligned and they actually make contact, so that looks pretty good. So that's how you position your nodes when you're busy building a furniture product. And the position of that root node is very important in relation to the bottom of the product, or your product is going to be underneath the floor. So that's what you really need to take away from this tutorial. And also that's how we did the opacity for this, noting that darker shades are going to be more invisible or transparent, and lighter shades will be more solid when you're working with an opacity. So I hope you enjoyed this video tutorial, and the next video tutorial we're going to go have a look at some of the more complex things in the create mode, such as assets. Like over here, these are what's called assets. Well, I'll go into some detail what these are and how these work, and we'll go and have a look at the config tab. And as you will see, and this is why we're starting off with the furniture, is that there's something over here that is not actually available in any other IMVU product except for furniture, which is the flash settings. And that is so you can import your own flash product. I'm not actually a flash developer, but I'll show you what you can do in relations to deriving from some flash products that already exist out there. I do a little bit of flash, but the importing it into IMVU is a little bit beyond my skill set. I have got a lot of flash services out there that have been derived from other products. Actually, I've got a radio station that's been broadcasting for 5 years on and off in IMVU now, and that is going through one of the flash products that is available on IMVU, which I derived from a few years ago. And I use my own server, I generate the stream myself, and it broadcasts 24 hours a day from my own server, and it goes into IMVU. So if you're into metal, my radio station's the black metal domain. You might have seen it on some of the metal players, radio players out there. And yeah, if you just want to have a look at my catalog, if you're interested in black metal, you'll see a few black metal domain products in there. One of them is just a standing spot, which is black metal standing spots, and there's a few radio players. All of them have the black metal domain as the first station on them. So if you just want to check it out, just go and just try them in the shop or something. You can take a listen to it. Cheers. Thanks for